I'm Heath Lambert, and you're listening to Marked by Grace, a podcast applying the grace of Jesus to all of life. Welcome to Marked by Grace, where this week I am addressing the benefits and the dangers of artificial intelligence, and I'm addressing that issue because you asked me to. That's the topics that I take on Marked by Grace is the ones you ask me to. If you've got a topic, a question, an issue you'd like me to address, you can send it into Marked by Grace at fbcjax.com. That's Marked by Grace at fbcjax.com. And really, everybody is talking about artificial intelligence. We're talking about computer-generated or computer-simulated information. It's called artificial intelligence because it's meant to mimic human intelligence. And it is just posing all sorts of questions and ethical dilemmas, not just for Christians, but for even the people who are working to create it. What should we do with this knowledge, with this information, with the products that are created from artificial intelligence? Well, my goodness, it's hard enough to know how to process authentic human intelligence. It's going to be even more complicated to process the artificial variety of that is computer generated. One passage that I was thinking about as I was thinking about how to answer this question is James chapter 3, verses 10 to 12. It says, "From the same mouth come blessing and cursing. My brothers, these things ought not to be so. Does a spring pour forth from the same opening both fresh and salt water? Can a fig tree, my brothers, bear olives, or a grapevine produce figs? Neither can a salt pond yield fresh water." The passage is interesting because what it does is it talks about, in a sinful world, the corrupt reality that bad things can come from realities that are supposed to produce good. It ought not be that way, but it is that way. The emphasis in James chapter 3 is on what comes out of your mouth. God made your mouth and gave you the gift of language to produce good things, but in a sinful world, we use it to produce bad things, and that makes things complicated and it makes things hard. That, again, is the information that comes out of our human intelligence. The same principle applies with artificial intelligence. What ought to be the case in God's world is that good things produce good results. But we live in a corrupt and a fallen world where we have to deal with the creation of the good together with the bad, and it just makes things complicated. And so you're asking this week about what are the benefits and the dangers of artificial intelligence. And the first thing we need to say is that we should expect in a fallen world that artificial intelligence is going to have benefits and it is going to have dangers. I'm going to try to talk for just a few minutes about a few examples of both of those, and so try to do justice to the question that way. Let me talk about first the benefits of artificial intelligence. A lot of the reason that artificial intelligence is in the news these days is because people are afraid of the bad things that might happen. And actually, I am the last person that you want to hear pontificate about the potential technological consequences of artificial intelligence. I'm just not equipped to do that. I'm not in that world. I know some people who are. I've read some things, but I'm not by any means an expert and would only make things confusing if I tried to weigh in on it. What I want to do is talk about moral benefits and moral dangers. And on the benefits side, I do think Christians should be looking for things to celebrate here. I think we can find things to celebrate. And in fact, artificial intelligence is really, really good for things that make normal human work more efficient. That's a huge benefit of artificial intelligence. It makes normal human work more efficient. Because of artificial intelligence, we're able to systematize information to help us complete tasks. Probably one of the most common ways we use artificial intelligence is in the directions on your GPS. You might not have thought about that being artificial intelligence, but when you ask your phone or your GPS to take you to church or to get you to your house or to find a route around traffic, the route it creates is the production of artificial intelligence. And a lot of us use it every day. I use that kind of artificial intelligence for routes even that I'm familiar with. If I'm going to be traveling during rush hour and I'm afraid I might bump into traffic, I want the artificial intelligence of my maps to help get me to where I need to go the quickest way possible. That's a strong benefit. I was having a meeting with some people who work in the area of communications, and they were talking about how artificial intelligence is helpful to promote written documents on social media. You can ask artificial intelligence to come up with the quotes from an article that are the most likely to go viral, as they say in it. So it can help you do that. Bible translations. There is a lot of promise in artificial intelligence for Bible translations. We have thousands of languages that don't yet have the scripture. And under normal circumstances, the work of translating the scripture is very, very slow work. But artificial intelligence could bring that work down to a fraction of the time. One of the things that I think about as a person who graduated from a PhD program is the research benefits of artificial intelligence. If you're looking for the best book on a topic, it is easy to do that. Here's a way you can access this kind of artificial intelligence. If you go to Amazon and type in the search engine the topic of a book you want to look up, it is going to produce the best-selling books, the most important books in just a second or two. Listen, when I was in school, way back in the dark ages in the 90s, when I was in college, if you wanted to find a book, you had to go to these things. They were called card catalogs. And you had to go pull out these long drawers and plow through all of these records. And it wasn't immediately clear which one of those was the most popular or the best. You just had to sort through it all on your own. And now, because of the work of artificial intelligence, you can have the same results that it used to take hours, sometimes weeks, and sometimes even months, depending on what you were working on. You can have that same information in just seconds. So artificial intelligence can be really, really helpful in making normal human work more efficient. Here's another benefit of artificial intelligence, and it's just the joy that comes into our life. There are things that are funny, and there are things that are wonderful that come into our lives because of artificial intelligence. My goodness. If you are in a store and you're hearing a song that you love, but you don't know the name of it, and you ask your phone to name that tune, and it gives you the name of the song and the person who is performing it, and then you can listen to it anytime you want, that's incredible. Listen, here's another thing. If you want to make yourself happy, look up the picture of Joe Biden and Donald Trump working at a farm stand. Look up the picture of Joe Biden and Donald Trump wearing sweaters and knitting together. Listen, when you look at this picture, it is hysterical, and it's going to put you in a very good mood. The picture never happened. This is a risk. I'm going to talk about this in a second, but it is delightful to see Donald Trump and Joe Biden smiling, selling berries at a farm stand. So listen, you might not like that picture as much as I did, but the point is there are wonderful things out there that will make you smile and will bring your heart joy, and it is thanks to artificial intelligence. But there are also risks, and the risks are not unrelated to even a few of the examples that I just gave. So let me give at least two risks and maybe a third, depending on time. First, there is a risk of deception. When I talk about the risk of deception, I'm talking about our involvement in creating artificial intelligence. We have a command in Scripture that we must always be honest. We must never mislead. And this leads to the problem of what they call deep fakes. Deep fakes are where you can produce a video of a famous person talking, saying horrible and untrue things, and it is becoming increasingly difficult to tell the difference between what is a deep fake and what is a real video. We just need to be very, very careful as Christians involved in the creation of artificial intelligence. If that ever is true of you, we may not create information that is intentionally deceptive or intentionally misleading. We also shouldn't seek to harm anyone's reputation. Perhaps more relevant in my world is sermon prep. It is becoming increasingly easy to use artificial intelligence to produce essays, sermon points, and all the rest. And listen, I would just say that is an act of deception. You're passing off the work of artificial intelligence as your own. It is also just spiritually unhelpful. As a pastor, the most important part of the work of sermon preparation and delivery is not the part where you're standing up in front of everybody, but it's the part where you're plowing through the text, where you're taking the truth of the Bible into your heart, where you're pleading with the Lord on your own in your prayer closet. And it is deceptive to take a shortcut to sermon prep and pass off the work of artificial intelligence like it's your own. So that's one risk. Another risk in this world of artificial intelligence is discernment. And this is where, before I was talking about our creation of these resources, here I want to talk about our consumption of them. It's very hard to be discerning in a world where there are deep fakes, where people are trying to pass off videos of famous people saying horrible things, and even where there are pictures of presidential candidates who look like they're having fun together working at a fruit stand. It's very, very hard for us to be discerning about what is true and what is false. Listen, we are going to have an increasingly difficult time as human beings discerning what is the truth out there. Fake news stories, deep fakes, the ability to create a trail of documentation is just going to be harder and harder and harder for us in a world of artificial intelligence. I don't know what the solution is for that. I'm just letting you know that it's going to get harder and harder and harder. And actually, I will mention a third risk. I said I'd save the third if we had time. And I think it's really important for what I just said. There is a risk to relationship. There is a risk with artificial intelligence. Used to, if you wanted information, you had to learn it in a classroom. You had to go to a library. You had to congregate with people. There were editors and fact checkers and people you knew and you could trust that would help you vet information and understand what is true. I'm not talking about the power and the controls there as much as I'm talking about the relationship. Well, here's the thing. As we move deeper and deeper and deeper into a world of artificial intelligence, we're moving more and more into a world of isolation where we are separated from people. And honestly, one of the best, most helpful, most reliable ways for us to be discerning is to be discerning in the context of relationship. And so we need to be very, very careful that in a digital world characterized by artificial intelligence, you and I are pressing deeper and deeper and deeper into our communities in our home, our communities of faith at our churches, and we are living life with other people who can help us be discerning about what is real out there and what is fake. So the world of artificial intelligence is new. It is uncharted. It is going to have many joys and it's going to have many risks. And this week on Marked by Grace, that's just a few of them.